hype! I finally read the book, and that is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I cannot tell you much about my favorites of 2016 because we're 6 months into the year, but I can tell you this will be on it. I've never laughed and cried more during a book. There was parts where I was like reading this at the doctor's office or in class, and I couldn't just not smile. I was just staring at the book beaming because of how cute it was. And even if you go see the movie, I wouldn't necessarily say you have to read the book before the movie. It's not really a must. It's not one of those books for me. But I would say to read the book eventually. It's so cute. It is so cute. So basically there's Louisa Clark, and I love her. She's just like a happy, beaming little 7-year-old, whatever. And she's met with Will Traynor, and Will made me sad every time. The prologue, watching him get hit with the motorcycle, you know what happens. It was so hard. And I knew how miserable he was. When she first meets with Will, at first I kept wondering where it's going, and this book was a little bit draggy, like 100 pages in. It was just like, get up, go to work, be miserable, get up, come back. I like Nathan. I pictured Nathan as a young 20s, mid-20s person, like the same age as Louisa, and Will that as an older person, which I think helped me more. I didn't like the family rift that Will was causing with his dad's alleged cheating, with the separation, with his sister. Good God, when her sister came in and she's like, yeah, I'm leaving in 2 weeks for a new job, I could have reached through the book and smacked her. Like, when the whole plan is revealed about Will's desire to kill himself, it was so sad. Reading about how he had once found a nail on a desk and subbed his wrist in it, it was so hard reading about that, and it was either he was going to kill himself that way, or with his parents' love and support in Switzerland. Lisa goes on this big grand scheme with her sister to prevent that from happening. I loved the family ties they brought in this, even with the couple problems they were having with Will's parents and how close they were to him, and not to mention Louisa's family. It was so adorable. Imagining this tight house with this little 3-year-old and her younger sister and etc. All of that. It was just so heartwarming to read a close family story. And I love how Louisa went on this idea to make Will want to live, but Will went on this idea to make Louisa want to live. Like, they were just reverse psychology on each other. There's this scene where they go to these racehorses. It's a disaster. By far, Will's miserable. They get stuck. She has to lie to this one guy to help about being in the military or whatever. And it's really not great. I kept cringing while reading it. But then the dinner comes, that's even more of a fiasco. I didn't love how she was really mean to the waitress because the waitress wouldn't work with her. That was fun. Then after that, she's to Will, this wasn't working, we can do something else. And at first Will's like, oh God, no. But when they go, my favorite part, it's not when they go to the castle, it's when they get tattoos. And she's like, I always wanted a tattoo, but everybody would hate me, in my family for it. And he's like, well, just get it anyway, for the experience. And he goes and gets a tattoo, and he says, Best by March, 11, those whatever the date his class was, 2007. And, oh my God, the irony of that tattoo was, I kept laughing, and she gets this bumblebee, and I just kept beaming while reading it because, oh my God, it was adorable. And they go to the wedding together. The wedding. Oh God, the wedding. First off, it was a little F you in your face to the bride and groom of coming to the wedding, because watching Will's ex-girlfriend, whom he had loved, leave him because he was paralyzed, and I know she tried or whatever, still, and go and hits up his best friend was just why would they even tell him? I absolutely hated when they told him. And they go to the wedding, and they're smiling and laughing, and there's that part where they wheel, like he wheels her around the wheelchair, like dancing with her, whatever. Oh, good God, it was so cute. And then when they go to the concert, and she's in this red dress, and I couldn't. It was so cute and beautiful, and it was so loving. And then comes the dawning horror, sadness. Yeah, that part. There's the whole guy who comes up. I forgot what he was called or what his name was, but he's basically setting up things for Will's death in arrangement for it, like his obligations, his will, etc. And Louisa makes this grand trip missing, skydiving, dolphin swimming, etc. And then Will gets ill with pneumonia. When he was in the hospital, it brought tears to my eyes because he realized how close he was to losing him. It did prove Will's point almost, because before he'd come from a rich family, and yes, he was deeply depressed, but he could have found a good life even if it wasn't what he wanted. But the idea of Will getting worse, and the idea of him having to suffer more and more and more, and to the point of not speaking or not breathing, and until this point I had wanted Will to change his mind. And reading that sifted things a bit, and then later when she was crying with Nathan in the loft, that really turned it for me. It was really emotion felt and sad, and Nathan says he wants Will to live only if Will wants to live. And there's this one part Nathan's talking about how sometimes Will has nightmares where he's doing all these adventurous things like before, and he wakes up screaming because he can no longer do that and he can't move anymore. And I cried at that part. That was the part I cried at. And then comes this whole vacation. Nathan's going on these dates, Louisa's doing scuba diving, and it's amazing, and at first it's so cute and heartfelt, and you think everything is great. And the night before they leave, Louisa says to Will how much she loves him, and all of that. I was so heartbroken when Will said it's not enough. He could love her back and it could be a great life, but he wouldn't be happy and it wouldn't be his life, and that was heartbreaking. And then when he asked her to go to Switzerland was 5,000 times worse, because asking to go while he dies. And she goes home. And the part I absolutely hated was she gets a call from Will's mom. Will's mom, when she collapsed out of the airport, I couldn't even bear that. When she gets the call, though, she's going to fly off real quick to Switzerland. Louisa's mom, I should say, has this dramatic fight scene with Louisa, saying, you shouldn't even come back if you're going, because it's no good to murder. And I was so pissed off at her at that scene. Like, could you not see this is not a win-win situation? And if she doesn't exactly go, you'll be haunted by the memory of that forever. I was so pissed off of it. I love how Louisa's dad handed her the car keys and said, go. You need to. I love how he stepped up to that. And the scenes when Will died, and she's crying, and she's kissing, and he's like, oh, don't worry, you're still beautiful. And it was so hard to read. And I loved when he called his parents in, and she just sat there and she kissed him as if she could bring his life into hers and whatever. And you know what happens. As much as I hated Will dying, I could see a point in it. He never would have been himself. He never would have been happy like that again. And even traveling the world wasn't going to change that. And there's a part of me that hated it and a part of me that could see it. And I just was so torn between the two. And then The epilogue. The epilogue was so sad and so amazing at the same time. Louise is in Paris like instructed, and she's gonna go to the shop that he recommended, and she's having the biscotti or croissants, baguettes, whatever the French thing is that he recommended, and she's reading the letter he left her, and that really screwed me up. When he says he left her enough money so she can go to college and get her 4-year degree, it's like he gave her a second chance at life, and he taught her to live. And I love the message this suit. Even if you cry for hours, I recommend everybody seeing / reading it, because I love the message being taught of just to live. And as much as I cried, I loved it so. It was amazing and beautiful, and I don't regret reading it at all, no matter how many hours I cried. I'm Annalise. Thank you for watching. Bye!